In this fourth recording with Toteras on the art of living, you'll hear some of the following themes: unified field theory and truth as a thing to be found, subjective versus objective view of reality. The realities of modern man are disproportionate in Toteras' opinion. Cancerous thoughts. Men and women must learn to appreciate each other's differences, not similarities. And feminine and masculine energy and their differences, along with many, many, many more interesting themes.
Somewhere in the middle, he said, lies the truth. As if truth had been some object, a stone, the Kabbal at Mecca, the stone, and the Holy Grail. That's something that represents it. It's not. That thought is not far-fetched from the thoughts of scientific thinking, and scientific thinking is looking for some unified thing.
Unified field theory.
That's right. That holds it all and explains that one thing that's necessary to understand. And what we're trying to do is, you see, mankind, for some reason or other, has tried to understand. Somehow or other, mankind realized that in order to understand, you have to develop some system of understanding. And for some reason, the classical Greeks came out with some system, rationality, reason. They came out with a system to understand, right? They separated the world. They separated the world between an objective world and a subjective world. There's a separation take place. We're looking at an objective world. Without going through the whole historical jamble of it, let's get to an area where you still have a subjective world and an objective world.
Subjective meaning a personal view?
Personal inside view, like the way if all things were anthropomorphic, if you had a connection with the trees, with the this, with the that, you had an ecological connection with everything around you, with the world, animate and inanimate. The primitive man, I don't know why primitive, because it seems like modern thinking, in order to survive, is going to have to start thinking philosophically the way the primitives saw the world. I mean, as some harmonious thing, like a good example is American Indians. American Indians don't... sticking a pick in the earth means to scar the earth. Right. They were very tender with the earth. They could walk through a forest and never break a branch. They were in touch with everything. And I'm sure that they were in touch with themselves the same way that they were in touch with nature. I'm sure that their family arguments, they probably were, but their family arguments were resolved because of some very fundamental structure that was within it.
Very balanced structure that took care of
something that they evolved along with their environment, along with their food habits, along with everything had its place, and nothing was overburdened, nothing was bigger than the other. Everything was in proportion to itself and to that which was around it. Things were in some sort of proportion. Yeah. But as man becomes more civilized, these proportions break down, because unfortunately all things don't come together at the same time. This comes together, let's say the reason you're capable now of really tearing the earth apart is you have big earth movers that can move mountains, man. I mean, you drive by an area and there's farms. You drive by that same area a month later and you see a city there with trees planted. And the trees look like they've been there 25, 30 years. Because like you call up I'm wandering, in my thoughts. But that's all right, because it's the dope that makes me wander, and the booze.
And the good feeling.
And yeah, right. No, but I'm not really wandering. What it is like, we're living in a world now that fantasy plus fantasy equals realities. Nothing is really real in the sense of man's proportions. What's real is that which is in man's proportions is real. The rest of it is unreal to man. Only what's in his proportions is reality. Like a mile has 5,280 feet in it. His mile is measured in his feet. Various measurements are taken, weight is taken in relationship to man's weight. I mean, something is big. You say he weighed 800 pounds because the normal man weighs 160 or 170. And all of a sudden, you see this man, he's big. He's huge, you know. The proportions are off. So the realities of modern times, the proportions are so way out of man that in order to accept them as realities, we have to accept them through some other fantasy as opposed to the relationship to that which is the most real, being me, right? I mean, reality begins at home, right?
Yes.
Doesn't it?
Yes.
The rest of it is
Right.
just really philosophical gibberish. Reality begins at home, wherever home is at, and however you interpret it. But you have to have some address. You have to have somewhere where you know where you're at. You have to know where you're standing at. I mean, the whole exploration of the universe depends on being able to take certain fixed positions in order for you to relate to where you're at. When you go to school, the school tampers with the most vital area of the human being, his head. Oh, they warn you not to smoke cigarettes because you might get lumps in your lungs. But they don't warn you that thoughts can put lumps in your brain, you know, in your thinking processes. You can have cancerous thoughts, right?
I don't think I understand what you mean by the people not knowing where they're at.
Yeah, you ask anybody down as you walk down the street. They'll ask you, where are you coming from? You know, the thought that when somebody is talking to you, where is he coming from, right? Am I right?
That's right, yeah.
I mean, the thought, that's relatively a new term, you know, used in the sense that it's being used. They want to know the reference point of your present mental condition, right? Your present mental thought. What reference point you have to it.
Today.
So when they're asking you
now.
where you're coming from, they're asking you your reference point, where you're coming from. Your, what is it, your resume,
Yes.
right? Your mental
Okay.
resume. And then you might say, well, I'm coming from Virgo. I'm coming from the
So you
king and the
identify
jack,
yourself.
from the tarot card.
I see what you're saying.
Right? So you have to tell people, at one time people knew. All the people, a person saw someone and knew he was a stranger because he had never seen him before. But everybody I look at, I've never seen before. I go downtown, I've never seen a fucking person before.
I see what you're saying.
You'll never see
Here,
it again.
They're not even strangers, man. They're just, you know,
They're not even there.
they're not even strangers anymore because nobody else around there is anybody that I know in order to make him a stranger. I'm a stranger among strangers.
Okay.
Right? We're something else other than strangers now. We're something else. What would something be that would be all strangers? You would say all strangers. Let's say, for instance, all of us were on a boat, and the boat was sinking, and we were all strangers. And something happens to you. I'm going to my doom with strangers. You know, like the people on the Titanic, you know, they all went down with strangers. They all, they went to their doom. I mean, at that moment, you couldn't make him a stranger anymore. At that moment, you were entering into another world together. They held hands and they sang. These people that were once strangers now became brothers. Time flashed by in seconds. They told each other of their families, their wishes, their this, their wants, as they drowned, man. Because that's man's nature, you see, man can't stand being a stranger among strangers. All his survival mechanisms get screwed out. All your survival mechanisms, if there's a lot of strangers around me all the time, I'm forever, you know, on the alert. It's it's genetical, isn't it? I mean, your mind is asking, who is he? Where's he from?
Yeah, so we're really nowhere here, aren't we?
We're nowhere, no.
We're not at anything.
No. We're not either at being or becoming. No, we're like an electronic switch.
We're making it up. Today I'm this. This week I'm going to another seminar to become that. I'm tired of this. Now I'm into that.
Yeah, right. You know, modern man's. It's not just It's the attitude that modern man has. Like, how far can I go in a day? You know, traveling. Oh fuck! I only did 75 miles today. How come so slow? You know. Well, I got tired. You know, I couldn't do better than 100 miles a day traveling across country. You know, I can't do 10, man. I get lost. I fucking pull off the fucking road, forget where the fuck I'm going. Unless I take off and never stop other than gas, where I'm going, I won't get there. Something will take me this way, you know. I see something, somebody will say something, they'll say it was over that hill, and then I go over that hill, and you know what I'm saying? I wander around like cows do. You know, the Bosporus, that area going up into between Europe and Asia, the Bosporus, where Turkey's at. It's called Bosporus from the classical Greek word vos, meaning cows. Pori means to meander. The way cows meander, that the Bosporus meanders, you know. So when you see somebody meandering around, he's vosporetic, right? All right, he's vosporetic. The coiners of words and terms and all that shit. You know, the Greek dictionary, man, is it's way over 1 million words. It's phenomenal.
Jesus.
Oh yeah, way over that. Yeah, it's phenomenal because it names everything like the Japanese do. The Japanese name everything.
They have that similar, don't they? They both name everything.
Everything. See, my contention is the following. I was reading these previous arguments, but I wanna sort of abbreviate it. My contention is the following: that man and woman don't see the same world, not because they're intellectually superior or inferior to each other. It's their imaginative position that's different. It's neither good nor bad, better or worse. Creatively, they're not the same. A woman's creation is absolute. A man's creation is never absolute. A man's creation is always secondary. A man's creation is something he goes and does manually with his hands, right? He creates a painting. He creates a work, a novel. He creates
Builds a house.
He builds a house. He does things. A woman creates life, man. I mean, the most highest of all creative functions is the creation of life itself. I mean, a woman doesn't have to go around creating buildings, creating this. Her work at creativity has been satisfied in the creation of life. Somebody says this is sexism. I don't think this is sexism. I think it's the following. In order for man and woman to be able to get along in the next century, in the coming century, they have to somehow or other get to the point where they can appreciate each other's differences.
Yes.
As opposed to trying to make, their understandability between each other as their similarities. Because we're totally different even physiologically to begin with. I mean, a woman's foot is different than a man's foot. Her calf is different. Her physiology is different. Her hormonal structure is different. General similarities, but different in their purposes, different in their end in view. Different teleologically, right? And teleologically, what is it that we're looking at? What end in view are we looking at? Definitely is the continuation of the species.
Yes.
I mean, if anything else, you would have to accept the fact that the universe and mankind was designed by a thinking God who thought in grammatical structures like we do. Now, if he thought in grammatical structures as we do, we might say that our structures are linear. A linear examination of history is different than a cyclical examination of history. A cyclical examination of history is more akin to a feminine disposition toward life. Because a woman is more put together psychically than a man is. Every 20-some days, a woman has a period. They're more connected to the moon phases. They're connected to areas of mystery to a man. Their regeneration, the classical, religious areas, the Elysians, where the rites of Persephone coming in, the rites of Demeter coming, the regeneration every year, the fertility, the Dionysian festival, which is a festival of consumption, right? A festival of drinking of the wine, of getting loaded, there's two distinct areas here, aren't they? In religious rites, two distinct areas of religious rites. You have a feminine and a masculine. The feminine were involved in the Dionysian. It appealed to the women the most. But what it is the connections of man and woman that were made then are not the same connections of man and woman today. And what we're looking at creative abilities that are not viewed by half of the race, being women, are not viewed as creative activities, but are viewed merely as ego-obtaining activities. So what a man's attitudes would be toward a linear understanding of life, a woman's understanding is cyclical. Repetition is an absolute to a woman. It's a finality. Repetition. To a man, repetition is boredom. To a woman, repetition is the exemplification of her life. When her periods cease, she says, I'm late. I'm late this month.
That's it.
Because her whole psychic makeup is made by a cyclical repetition all the time. Now, the ancient Greeks saw history that way. I mean, a whole culture was really feminine. Like a lot of people say, why is homosexuality was rampant in classical Greece? Because the whole society was feminine in its viewpoint. It believed in cyclical things, man. Like why there is no Greek school of history, though there was Herodotus and Thucydides, there is no Greek school of history the same way as there a Greek school of forms and ideals as the Platonic school is, right? Or a school of categories that lasted till now. The Aristotelian school, the Peripatics.
Because they saw it cyclically, because of the connection to that female.
It will happen again. The classical Greek said, why the Jew was a linear thinking person. Like when you look at his history.
We're certainly linear.
Oh yeah. When you look at the Jewish history, it starts at day one. And it evolves through this, through this, through this, through this, through this, through this. I mean, the Greek didn't have day one at his beginning. There is no day one.
So what you're saying is now we don't have any female connection. We don't have a cyclical connection to the...
No, we have, the scientific methodology is very patriarchal, it's very formal. Formal logic is very linear. It's a very linear activity, right? Cyclical thinking has its own inherent problems to it.
You see us returning to a cyclical thinking?
No, I see this, they forgot the Heraclitean thinking. Like the Heraclitean thinking, the logos embodies strife. And strife makes this thing go this way, and strife makes it go that way. And then other areas the same way get together and they cooperate with each other, even though all of them are in strife. And there is cyclical. I mean, the seasons do happen, but they're not the same season. So it allows for the thinking that, yes, we're going to have droughts because the environment is changing. And what we depended on at one time to be normal is now changed because It's not only cyclical, but it is in strife and it's constantly changing.
Constantly moving.
The
and
border of
increasing.
the logos which brought it all together. In Heraclitean thinking, the strife, tapandari, things are in flux, also implies that things being in flux are in a constant state of agitation, aren't they? Things in movement are in a constant state of agitation.
Uh-huh.
You know, the muscles are moving, the arms are moving, the blood is pumping, the heart is expanding, the air is being filtered with more volume. There's a lot of things that are happening, you know, when there's motion as opposed to when there is a reclining, satiated. But the change is more apparent in motion, isn't it? There's always apparent change in motion. You can see it moving. Things will change whether you move or not.
Boy, this society right now is undergoing amazing changes.
We don't want changes, don't you see? We're caught not between Parmenides and Platonic argument. We're caught between Parmenidean and Heraclitean arguments. Where the Parmenidean argument wanted, and some of his students would develop arguments of paradox from it that are, you know, Zeno's paradoxes. I mean, the school was a very vital school. The school was a very, you know, its arguments were presented well. It had the beginning of dialectics, but its main tenet was that things were fixed.
That things don't change.
Yeah, with Plato's arguments of change, and he knew that you couldn't avoid the Heraclitean argument of change, and you know you couldn't avoid that the things that are more satisfying, the things that are more capable to deal with are things that stay static. Like when a lawyer goes and swears to uphold the law, what he's saying is, I swear to uphold the status quo. That means that I am accepting the Parmenidean framework of
something that doesn't change.
it's changeless, right? The status quo. I mean, you know, the arguments too. I jump a lot of bridges, but the argument, because you know I get loaded, and but the argument, the more close-knit argument would take days of putting it all together, because arguments are just like anything else. You know, you can have a masterful argument that in it's insipid. You know, it has nothing to it, or you can have a loose structured argument with broad strokes that a lot of people would say it's bullshit. But then again, you know, bullshit being a fertilizer, it would be more beneficial than an insipid statement of status quo-ness, right? I'd rather be called a bullshitter than to be called nothing.
Yeah, ooh, wow.
Than to be called nothing. Yeah, Oh, right. The point, without losing my place again, is where I'm raising a certain thought concerning the creativity of women and men. So therefore, you know, their imaginations are different. You know, like I told Brown, man, she was over here yesterday, and I said, hey, you know, she said, you gonna have a Christmas tree? And she says, I got some lights and all that. And I said, no, I want to make my tree over here a Christmas tree. You know, this one here. Mm-hmm. So, she says, oh, that's nice. And I said, oh yeah, take the lights and put them up there. You know, so I just went out and did my shit, you know, and she did that. So that's, you know, that's really female thinking, man. Mm-hmm. You ought to see it at night. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I imagine that is gorgeous.
But that's female thinking. I wouldn't have done it like that.
Yeah, the tree of knowledge on the wall, and
you know, it has its own symmetry. She didn't try to. Like, I would have tried to follow the branches more. But she didn't try to follow the branches more, just the way a fucking woman would.
Yeah, right.
She did the most expedient thing, you know. Like, I would have done the most complicated thing, you know. Huh? Mm-hmm. But you see, they're more.
Yeah, that's a good example.
Oh yeah, man.
She covered it.
Yeah, right. She covered it, and you see, there was a certain symmetrical attitude toward it. You know, like she went around the sides and she went around this side, and then she just laid it and crisscrossed it where she could hang it and went over to the top. Like I would have fucking followed all the branches, right? And then found some complicated way of complicating it even more. Because the male mind is analytical. It refers back again a lot to what it's done. This is why when men and women cheat on each other, and that's not a good word. That's not a good
No,
word.
that isn't a good word.
It's not a good word.
No.
It cheat. It has a certain degrading aspect to it because, you know, like let's say I'm going to somewhere and on that road there's somebody there that sort of, I don't know what, her lips or something sparked me off. I should feel free to, and she's getting turned down for some fucking reason, and all of a sudden I say, oh wow, you know, there's some newness, a new smell, a new touch, a new voice, a new everything. Newness is so exciting. It feels better than oldness, and with newness, it's youthful, it's fresh, it tastes good,
Yeah, it's
it's
beautiful.
healthy, it's good for you. So newness,
So
yeah.
why not? Yeah. So why not?
Well, this is what it's about. It's the newness of things that a milk. They add say gives you a newness to your outlook or something. If you take vitamin B's of certain forms and vitamin C's with them, they give you a newness of life, of looking. It's sort of turning yourself inside out like a glove, you know, and then having it all examined and then pulling yourself back up again and zippering up and moving on. It's that newness of view that everybody has. So why should I deny myself this newness for a vow taken 20 years ago when I was young, foolish, stupid? That same year I was bilked out of my life savings by a more mature confidence man who gave me confidence that I could become rich like him and wearing rings and driving a shiny car. I mean, the whole thing. He posed that to me, and I saw it as a reflection, See, like, I realize a lot of my thinking are just, like, you know, like if you're out on the water and the sun is shining on the water, you actually see the sun in the water as opposed to looking up at the sun. You're looking at the reflection of the sun, and you put glasses on to get away from that reflection. It's that reflective area in man that we take as actually looking. Like you could drive from here to San Francisco and man never see anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you know the road, right?
Yeah.
You know just where the shifted. You know just from that constant repetition, that unbearable repetition. What happens in this repetition? The woman survives. The man perishes.
Because the man can't handle.
He can't handle
more
repetition.
cycles and repetition.
No.
I see what you're saying.
No, he can't.
He does. The woman is now flourishing.
It
in the
affects his
workplace.
sexual life. A man has to move in the linear way. He has to move that way. He can only understand life that way.
It affects his sexual life by shutting it down, by screwing him up in some way.
Yeah. It sets up a sense of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, where the other imaginative factor is going around in circles. I mean, listen, man. I've heard so much all my life, people saying about their old ladies going on in circles. And I always figured, shit, what do they mean? They don't dance around in circles. What kind of circles are they going around in? Till it dawned on me one time, you were talking about the cyclical period of a woman. I mean, it was years after, years of much thought, much work, much whatever, that I realized that history is explained in cyclical, which makes history a very minor thing in life. Like a woman doesn't care how many times you've had it with other women, but a man does. Because he sees repetition in a linear way, but a woman sees things in a cyclical way. Oh, that's the way he is. That's the way.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. If sense is cyclical or if sense is linear. See, cyclical is dialectics. Linear is formal logic.
Uh-huh.
Let me say this in brief conclusion. Women are naturally dialectic. They synthesize a lot. They go from thesis, antithesis, synthesis. You know, the dialectical process. They go through that. They keep moving around, but they still keep coming back. They move around, they keep coming back. With the linear one, it's just very dogmatic. Formal logic is extremely dogmatic if it's used properly.
How is it then that the two have gotten along for as long as they have?
Because they've gotten along because they were inside a structure that gave them their roles to play. Now that structure doesn't give them their roles to play, and they don't know what role to play.
That's right. Men and women's roles.
I mean, I was looking at that,
Totally
that
confused.
feminist there the other day, you know, and that lawyer lady, and you know, she was dead set against tradition, but nevertheless, she had a pair of high heels on that were very traditional, silk stockings, a woman's dress. She had her hair done in
she
a
was
woman's.
very pretty.
She was very
Dressed up.
pretty. You know, she was.
Smelled
She had
good
a
too.
yeah. She had a lovely female voice. I mean, you know, she had things about her that made the male in me look at her.
Mm-hmm.
And here she was advocating something that I really didn't fully understand, you know? I really didn't understand. I don't understand. Do I understand, personally, do I understand women intellectually? No, not really. No, not really. I don't understand them intellectually. I don't, do I understand them imaginatively? No, not really. You know?
You're saying it's almost impossible too because
I don't know. I'm saying, well, me, you know.
Uh,
I mean, I made a long, detailed study of it in the practical sense and in the theoretical sense, but I still can't come up with anything. When I would go to the left, they would go to the right. You know, my reasons for going to the left seemed very sound, and their reasons for going that way was very sound also. You know. Leads me to, I know that I'm right. For some fucking reason, I know I'm right. And it makes me angry. It's just that they're right too. I mean, it's just the way they did it. Like, I did not interfere with that.
the creation of
You know
all-
me, man, I never interfere with something. I said it looked good with lights on it, and that's as far as I went.
Right.
And I never interfere with the creation of another person. Never, man. Because it's too complicated. Talking to a person at the wrong moment, you know, even just saying something could fuck it up. You know what I'm saying? So something came out there that wasn't polluted by me, you know? Wasn't polluted by the man. Polluted's not a bad word, you know. He just said if you want to see something the way it is, if you throw something in it, you pollute it. You don't see it the way it is anymore. Like, you will not see your wife anymore the same way you saw her the first day you met her. Right? You'll never see her that way anymore.
That's right. That view has changed.
Huh?
That view has changed.
Yeah, after a while, they're not even pretty anymore. You don't see them anymore. Just like I don't see that out there anymore. I just sit here and stare at that. Well, one time that was nice. Looking out that way was nice. Now I don't even look at that. The only time I miss it is when I don't see it, like I'm in a city. Like, I can't wait to get the fuck out of the city, you know, so I can get back up here where my eyes can see 60 miles.
Yeah.
Huh? Now see, a woman wouldn't understand that. Not because she's stupid. It's not necessary for her.
Not part of her makeup, her
No.
survival makeup, her,
No.
her being.
No, you could put them in a fucking cupboard, man. They don't complain. The man's the one who complains all the time. They don't complain, man. All the women I've known, none of them complain. I'm the one who complains.
Yeah, you going back to the argument about the workplace, and the modern workplace, it's really the women nowadays that are flourishing and surviving in the monotonous, boring,
That's right.
techno, service-oriented.
And now they're
fields where-
feeling ripped off for being stuck in that, in the sense, that I'm stuck out with the attitude.
Well, the men are
stuck
falling
in-
off, going to seminars for themselves and not working, and they're all unemployed and moaning about doing part-time things. And really, the women around, they've taken control of something. It seems like the modern workplace is set up for the woman now, and it's working for them.
Oh yeah, they could sit on their ass for hours, man, looking at a fucking computer. They, down there at the Chipville, down where they're making the silicon chips.
Yeah.
Oh, the women were the best. Oh yeah, they're working little bastards, But you see, like if we go with formal logic to approach a woman, you ask her, why did you do that? Why'd you do that, you son of a bitch? You ask her, what the hell's wrong with you? They can't fucking explain it to you.
No, God, it's the most infuriating.
And they do
thing.
some shit, sometimes. They do some crap,
Well, women interrupt things at the worst possible moment.
Oh, they don't know when. They do not know when. They do not know when. Well, that's the first thing I tell them, When you see me here, the fucking house is burning, don't bother me. If I get up and go see you, that's fine. If you see me here, don't bother me, I'm thinking. That's right, huh? Be bothered. They come up with the stupid things,
They just don't make sense sometimes. That's right.
They don't make sense all the time. No, but that's the way I think. But they are making sense.
To themselves.
From the way they think.
From the way they think, right.
That's right.
That's right, yes.
And if you're in close proximity with a woman every day of the week, you're going to get into a jam, man.
I think that's what we've got. We keep seeing that Thursday night, these men that have...
You're going to get in a jam.
They're in a jam. I mean, they're trying to buy into their arguments, but yet they think differently as well. These guys are kind of like running behind them, trying to support the arguments of the women, but it's kind of half-hearted. Things aren't meshing up.
Oh yeah, like Roberti's arguments of traditionalism. Hey man, you're culturally bound. What do you mean tradition? That's a human being is culturally bound. He doesn't get very much by instinct. He has to be taught.
Yeah.
And that means you have to be taught from some traditional groundwork, or what the hell are you going to teach?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to start at point A when you're going to teach. Let's say, for instance, you're teaching math. I mean, you definitely have to get first to arithmetic before you can go on to the more symbolic mathematics, before you go on to algebra. But you still have to go from algebra 1 to algebra 2, 3, 4. I mean, you have to go step by step. To repeat, what you're repeating is historically how man actually got to where he's at. Like when you're taking the long, lengthy courses, all the prerequisites you're taking is what man knew at a certain time. At that specific time in history, he knew that. See, and you're learning what he knew, like through physics. Any high school graduate in physics today could swamp Aristotle. Really the father of physics, right? Could swamp him. Aristotle couldn't keep up with him. But if Aristotle's mind had lived today with the pondering and that questioning attitude that he had.
Yeah, right.
You see what I'm saying?
He would have opened some doors, wouldn't he?
Yeah, if we'd have had something like that today. You're right. So I mean, it might be that the true inheritor of the dialectical system is not man but woman.
Wow. Because it's
That's-
natural to her.
It's natural to her, yeah.
That's a real interesting thought.
Yeah, right. I stumbled on that thought. I really did. I stumbled on that thought. It wasn't something that I actually sat down to think out. I stumbled across it. Like it's a period that we're having now, a period of synthesis. Like we really got to stop and just sort of regroup again. Just clean out the house and clean out the cupboards and paint the rooms and open up a skylight here and do a thing there and find some new ways to talk to each other in the morning, to address each other. Hi. Like for a long time, the word brother was good. What happened is the blacks, it came from the blacks, it went back to the blacks. The whites got too uppy. In the 60s, in the 60s, like from the area I come from, the word brother was used all the time, you know what I mean? It wasn't abbreviated yet, it wasn't bro yet, it was brother, you know? Yeah, we say little brother, you know, and shit like that. So, I mean, I was familiar with that term before the word became popular in the latter part of the 60s. And in the latter part of the 60s, the word became very popular and went back again into the ghettos as the word bro. Right? So now the people who use the word bro are shady characters that live on the peripheries of black and white neighborhoods.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Or who deal with the blacks a lot, either through dope or music or what have you now.
Right.
And so, I mean, you know, where at one time, what came out of the ghetto languages already went into the language and was accepted as as part of the language now. You know, like the word busted, or come down, or shit like that. It was all ghetto talk, and all of a sudden now it's, you know, part of the yuppie, hip, upper echelon, you know, excitable people. You see what I mean? That their language is canned like sardines, and you give it to them in sardines. Like, yeah, they don't think, man. They're not into thinking, these people. I'm jumping, I'm scattering here. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about the people who the feminists. The feminist. It's not the woman who's the feminist. The woman wants to feed her kids. It's the woman. That woman wants what the man wants, and because of that, they get along. But you get a woman who's making $50,000-$60,000 a year. She doesn't need a man for any other fucking reason is to have a social front. She does not need a man because of the way a woman is. A woman doesn't really need a man.
Yeah, she can do it all herself.
She can goddamn do it all herself, man.
Right. But a man is actually dependent upon a woman to take
See, a
care
woman
of him.
actually feels her body. A man doesn't. A man has to be taught how to feel his body. A woman feels her body. She has menstrual periods. I keep referring to that. That's because it's one of the most different things that takes place between man and woman. It's a thing that puts her to total connection with the movements of the moon and the astral bodies. It's actually put her in a connection. You can't deny that. You don't have to be a professor to realize that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, yes, it does.
Yeah, I never think of it because I don't have cycles like that.
No, none of us do. But the women do, and there's days in the month that she's feeling poorly because of that. And according to them, that there's somewhere 15 days where they're actually feeling, you know, and the rest of it they're either coming up or coming down from it. They get extremely exhausted. They have hormonal changes. You know, it's quite a thing, and it happens every month, man. Every month, you know.
Now there's been a feminist argument coming around saying that men have cycles too.
Probably do.
Yeah, they probably do. We probably do.
But you're saying that these feminist arguments are emanating from the middle to upper class women who don't need men anymore, right? They're the real feminists. That most other women, I think you mentioned this before, that most women aren't really concerned with the feminist arguments.
No, they're not. They're concerned with the equality of the social equalities that are very necessary.
Right, social equality.
Necessary, but the sexual equalities, the woman, I think, in the general sense, has accepted the fact of, you know, the same thing that a man is, you know, and what she's obtaining out of it is the freedom that comes from the economic equalities that they're witnessing, you know, the social equalities. As the social equalities get more equal, the less dependence a woman has on the man. So what the hell does she need him for? Now, if the society allows in thought the comings and goings of males without any social repercussions, that's perfectly fine. That's the mores of the society at that given period of history. But still, you still have the feeling of the human beings, the male and the female, that doesn't fall into that historical feeling, that historical awareness. It seems like there's another part of the human being that governs him so totally, and sometimes the times and the period interfere with that. Like the time and the period now is interfering with the biological evolution of the male and the female. It's interfering because it's allowing the female, allowing the male to be able to live separate of each other without any vast repercussions, immediate repercussions. I mean, I like living by myself, right? I want a woman, my biological needs. If the woman was here, my wife was here. I was married, my wife was here, living with me. The biological needs would be blended into the everyday occurrence of our lives. Now I have to get up and go seek out a woman if my biological needs. Now, I can feel my biological needs because the wife isn't here, right? I don't have a wife. I have to have a substitute for a woman. I have to have a woman but isn't close to me, that doesn't live with me, that doesn't move through my sociological and biological rhythms of the days and the what have you
But
not.
you still have to have the woman to
But
meet
something
the needs.
inside of me says I have to have that. There's something that needs that. What is it that needs that? I don't know what it is that needs that, but it's definitely some patterns of attraction that have been put inside of you in order to propagate the race, propagate the species. See, we don't know all that. It's only been 90 years since people have washed their hands before going into the operating room. I mean, we're not all that aware. We seem to have made great inroads into sociology and psychology only in the fact that we use the scientific method and it's come to an end. You can't use a scientific method in psychology anymore. It just doesn't work anymore. You know, it's just... unless you move the scientific method over into genetical and biological, in that area, the more empirical science says, then yes, you can alter with the human being totally, you know, and make him bark.
You're saying that the scientific is fixed. You were saying that before, and like the institution of marriage is something that's fixed.
Well, it's linear.
It's linear.
Yeah, the scientific methodology is linear. It's not really cyclical. It's linear. If it was cyclical, it would just repeat itself. It become more in vogue with mechanical engineering. Mechanical engineering depends on the cyclical theories. Because a machine has to repeat that same cycle over and over again. When that cycle doesn't repeat itself anymore, the machine's broken.
So, okay, I see what you're saying.
But see, the woman is caught within the cycle of the universe, not in the cycle of a made-up machine. She's caught within the cycle, the rhythms of the universe itself. Yeah, there's a big difference.
Oh yeah, there sure is.
Oh yeah, the man isn't caught within that rhythm of the universe. He has no way of understanding it. He's not caught within it. The woman is. Not because she's smart or anything, it's because she is the female.
Well, how the hell do we get along? How do we bridge the gap between the two then?
It never was. The gap between male and female has never really been breached. I mean, societies have tried to breach it. But I've never seen where they have. You know, there's always problems.
So the question is asked again.
I mean,
is it to be breached then?
Look, one of the longest continuous culture in the world is the Chinese. And their ideogram for trouble is two females under one roof. That's right.
Two women living in the same house. Wow.
That's right.
Yeah.
Huh? How does that work? Can a male subjugate them to the point where he beats them and makes them work? He can. He can do that. But he's got a different kind of person, right? See, like if you allow them, I'm jumping here, just beyond, this is purely my own personal feelings, you know. Like I've seen throughout my life that the rottenest son of a bitches seem to have had the best wives. And these nice guys, these guys who jumped up at the movement of his wife's leg or something, just jumped up and said, "What is it, dear? What can I get you?" Somehow or other, they were so dominated that you could feel the power of the woman. We're going to do this. We're going here. You're wearing that. You're going to do this. Now, personally, I like that.
You don't mind being commanded by a woman?
No, it doesn't bother me one bit, because I'm going to do what I'm going to do anyway. And it amuses me, you know what I mean? It sounds funny to me. I don't do much. I don't dress. I don't bathe. I don't wash. I don't. So what are they going to tell me? Go bathe, go wash, go change your clothes, right? So it doesn't really bother me. What would bother me is if they started curtailing my activities.
Well, they do. They always come in and say,
Yeah,
"Stop!
there's
Just
always
stop
something.
smoking. Stop sitting around. Go get some exercise. Do this. You shouldn't be doing that."
You never take me anywhere.
Oh no, no, that's it. That's it. No. Oh, any kind of whimpering, whining, any kind of shit like that, it's out, man. Fuck. Oh no, I can't put up with that kind of crap. To lay down a guilt trip on me because of, go out, go find somebody, go fuck, go do what the fuck you want to do. I can't deal with that, man. So we have two males. We have the male that doesn't want that female around him because he's totally indifferent to her wants, or you just can't make a female happy, For some unearthly reason, I don't know why, you cannot make a female happy.
Yeah, no matter how much you do, boy,
Well,
it's
it's
just
a,
never
it's a
enough.
cyclical thing. You'll make her happy for just a short while, and then it's right back into the repetition.
Yeah, she gets depressed at the end of the month, and then she gets hot somewhere during the month. They get hot somewhere during the month, they want to screw. And you don't know when it is, and they start rubbing up against you and all that shit. You might be studying, man, I don't want that crap, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that rubbing up against their legs on me. And
Yeah,
fuck.
but
I'm not in the mood to fuck.
And if they want to go fuck, you're saying let them go fuck.
Yeah,
Go screw. Go find somebody else.
yeah, they're kind of coming back here though, because you're not happy being here with me. I'm not going to change. I can't change. How the fuck change to what? If I change just this much, I'll fall apart. You know what I mean? I swear, man. If I change just that much, if I try to learn just that much more of something, everything in me will just come undone. You know what I'm saying? It's gotten such a balance. I don't want to learn.
The modern man is constantly adapting himself, altering himself, changing. He's, like I said earlier, he's been in workshops and seminars and reading how-to books.
His balancing act is
shedding this and taking on that, and he's the state of becoming. I think
Yeah, he's always in the state of becoming. Yeah, he's always in the state of becoming. You don't know who the fuck it was. If you saw him today and you saw him tomorrow, it'd be two different guys. My cousin, he calls me up and he says, "Did you know?" He said, "I had a whatchamacallit, what the hell they call it? He was a sexaholic. What? Addiction. I was an addict." And he said, "I was an addict, man." I said, "What?" And he says, "A sex addict, Al." And he says, "Yeah." He said, "I went down to this meeting, and he said, yeah, what had happened was his girlfriend caught him screwing her girlfriend. And he says, I can't help myself. And she said, well, then you're sick, because she's a nurse, She says, well, you're sick. And she drug his ass down to the sex addiction place. That's where I heard about it. And they went into treatment, and she went into treatment, too, as a co-addict. And, they spent some money, and they all got up there and confessed. And then everybody there started fucking each other.
I guess that's what the addicts do. They can't help it. They have to indulge in some of their.
And this one woman that she was, she had some bucks and all that, and she said that how she kept fucking different men and got confessing. But there's a fucking there's a sexual addiction. There's a sexual addiction that gets more erotically turned on by confessions. Like I'm realizing now that there's some people in the group that are actually getting turned on by confessions like that. That it's okay. Like you get up in front of your old lady, right? Mm-hmm. And you start coming out with things like your old lady don't know whether you're acting or telling the truth.
Yeah, right.
So you could start telling her shit, and then you stop all of a sudden and say, "No, I'm just working out next week's next week's thing, right?"
Yeah. It's a new character.
So like with Braun, man, I write these ludicrous fucking things and I give them to her to read, and she's going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They can't distinguish now what's being created and what is.
Mm-hmm. I mean, is that cruel of me to do that to?
No, it's wait, I'll tell you in a minute when I take a hit. It has nothing to do with cruelty. No. Matter of fact, it's good for your personality. Everybody in here has something in common. In one sense, the personality seems unstable. College graduates, all college graduates, educated, smart, talented, and all that shit, can't deal with the world at all. Why? Nobody's got a bad personality. Nobody's aggressive. What is it about the world that they can't deal in? The world is two-dimensional. And what's happened is, for some reason or other, reality is three-dimensional or maybe more. To live in the outside world out there, it has to be two-dimensional. You can't talk too much about anything.
2 dimensions, cause effect.
Yeah, it's just cause and effect. Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Cause and effect, linear.
All mechanical.
Linear, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Linear. We're really anti-masculine, you know. We're not anti-feminist. Now when you stop to think of it,
Anti-linear in this.
we're anti-linear, man.
We're linear.
Yeah, we're dialectical by our very nature.
God, we are. We're feminine.
We're feminists. Yeah, we're real pure feminists.
We're pure feminists.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But what we don't want is, we don't want the roles to fuck up. We don't want the woman to go fuck other men. We want her to lie with a more convincing way. We want her to get back into her hypocrisy again, where things, that's what it was, you know. Women have always thought like women, no matter what fucking century they were in, you know. Man, there's sayings in Greek that come from the classical times as to what women were doing. The word devil, it actually means, the word diabolo, devil, right? Derivation of the word diabolo, Latin, comes from the Greek diavoli. Dia means two, voli means to throw. It really means throwing your voice from two ways, coming from two ways, diavoli. So the devil in Christian times came at you both ways, through your reason and through your appetite of element, you know. He would put thoughts in your mind, and then he would make you want to fuck. You read Abelard? Did you guys read Abelard when I told you to read Abelard?
Yeah, I couldn't get to Eloise and Abelard. No,
Yeah.
letters of. No, I could never find them.
Yeah.
I'll keep on that one.
Yeah, that's an important, that there, where Abelard just preaching celibacy, man, and all of a sudden, you know, has this wild, mad affair with Eloise, you know, and one of the greatest love stories, really, you look at it, between man and woman. It was done on a high metaphysical, ethereal level. They cut his dick off. Her uncle had the ruffians come and emasculate him, yeah, cut his dick off. And then she went in an abbey. He became an abbeyist. Yeah. It was sad, the tragic. They had a son. Beautiful love story. Love. What is this thing? You know, there's a love between man and woman. There's a love between man and man. Love is something else. You know. Love something else. A woman can love you and go fuck other people. You could love your wife and go screw other women. I mean, you know. Right?
I guess that has to be understood in modern times now.
That has to be understood in modern times. See, but
Supposed to make it because.
now a woman is going to do what she's going to do in modern times because there is no censure by the group. The group is big. The group is a city.
The peer group isn't checking each other on this.
That's
kind of
right.
activity.
You know, gossip is one of the great ways that a society has of keeping itself in check, you know.
Gossip.
Gossip, man. The father of philosophy, you know. Yeah, the father of analytical philosophy is gossip.
So, in other words, I wouldn't be out doing anything for fear of the neighborhood picking up on what I'd done and shaming me.
Yeah,
or my
right.
family.
Yeah, right. So the ethos is not involved there. See,
There's
here-
no gossip on that level here.
No.
We're all disconnected from each other.
Right. There's nothing stopping you from doing anything. The only thing that's stopping you from doing it, the only thing that's stopping a woman from going out and making it with another guy is that she is A involved with a guy, or that guy there that hasn't actually turned her on, you know. And
Yeah, right.
look, to our way of thinking, watch. My way of thinking, we think we have found Susie's electric button, man. You know, that place where if you touch the woman, her legs will spring open. Like a woman, it is our thought in modern times that a woman is so fucking promiscuous, so willing to fuck whomever. Because, you know, we came through that hippie period where women were, I mean, I know women today, man, that are really straight, married, have a family, and don't ever want to hear about what they did when they were in the 60s. I mean, you know, fuck a lineup of guys, you know. Them people had gone nuts, man. Yeah, the mainstream had gone wacko. But now all these people, you know, are in their 40s, right? And in their minds, they know what a person's capable of doing. They're very insecure about their mates. No matter how much they'd like to acknowledge that they are ataraxic, right?
Yeah, without
Indifferent.
yeah, almost indifferent,
Yeah, right.
tolerant of it.
I asked the guy, man, what do you do when your old lady is out at night? You know? He says, I put on my pajamas and I crawl under the bed, man, go to sleep, you know? Pull the covers over my head and go to sleep. That's the only thing you can do. What can you do?
That's the only thing you can do.
If you think of where is she at now, you're gone, man. You fell off the high wire. You can't ask that question.
And
See?
what she's doing right now,
That's right.
are they touching? Well, that's a madness if you start that type of thing, isn't it? You just open up a world of total paranoia.
That's
and
why I threw the old lady out. All these things registered across my head right then and there, man. You know, drrrr, drrrr. I mean, you know,
You saw the doors of hell open up. in
the
front of you.
pathology of love are the doors of hell that should never be opened, man. That's right. I do not have the emotional, intellectual constitution to deal with that. I don't. I don't have the emotional capacity to deal with that. Every person can only deal with it in his capacity and no other capacity. There cannot be one rule. The women that don't want running around husbands have to be that way themselves, and they have to find men who feel like that, and people get together on that level, you know?
And people get together on that level, and it's
On that
clear,
level. And the
it's
other levels are
understood.
people that they don't mind, there are certain things that men will accept from their wives that other men would kill them for.
Yeah,
They would.
yeah, that's right. Men living now in various other cultures would
Kill them.
yeah, kill them.
Let's say you're married now, he's not. But in your situation, let's say you were, if you could imagine yourself to be from a more cloistered culture, let's say like a Latino culture, you know. You were a Latino, very possessive, very jealous, very uptight guy. Where would you have fallen in pitfalls with your wife?
Oh, the friends that she has had over the last couple of years, the various Brazilian male friends that have appeared and spent time with the sisters, definitely dancing and spending time in New York. No way in hell. All her movements are going unchecked.
Yeah.
The other men are looking at her body, touching, plotting, scheming.
Uh-huh. If you were a Mexican or a Latino, for them reasons there. But now as an American, you accept these things. Why? See, there's the secret.
Here's the secret. I wish to continue with her. She's not. Why? Because I realize she's not going to change or stop it. There's nothing I can do to make her stop dancing or having her friends or doing whatever she wants to do. She's a headstrong international girl doing whatever she wants to do, and she's going to do it. So I see that. I'm practical. I enjoy being with her. I have a son with her. I love her dearly, and I have to make certain adaptations. I can't indulge myself in that possessiveness and that jealousy. It also doesn't. I don't have the fire of that possessiveness. Maybe as a kid I did, when love was different for me, but now it's more practical. It doesn't make sense getting pissed off for a bunch of men looking at her. Fuck it. She's making a few bucks, and that's the way it is. It's not my domain. I'll roll over and go to sleep too. Toss me the blanket. Yeah.
Now, that's the argument of modern man. You've espoused the argument of modern man. This is the way to view modern women. The woman who's liberated, who's going to do what she wants to do anyway. And the only one way to stop them is literally to shoot them. Really, that's all. They're not going to stop any other way.
If you're bent on stopping them, that's...
If you try to stop them, they're going to go underground.
And that's ugly, man. That is disgusting and horrible, that duplicity and all the lying and cheating. That's really where the cheating is going on, the robbing of each other's souls.
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty bad.
I remember the feeling of getting a phone call from Rick at 6 in the morning asking if she had come home yet and that she'd forgotten her wallet. And I said, "Who the hell is this?" And he said, "Who the hell is this?" And I said, "This is her boyfriend." And he said, "Ah, fuck you, I'm a cop. If I find out who you are, I'll beat the shit out of you." Hey, I was totally intimidated, crushed, pounded. Guy destroyed me in a second, man.
He said he's a cop.
I'm a local cop. If I find out who you are,
You should invite him up to blow your whistle. Come up, I'm gonna stick my dick up your ass and getting this verbal shit over the phone,
There you go.
No, the thing to do is when you catch the other lover, tell him, hey, I don't want you getting scared. Cut a deal with him that you want to look. I want to, or I will get angry and I will come and get you.
If I can't look,
Yeah,
if I can't share what's going on.
That's right. I want to become part of it. I want to see you fucking her. Beyond what it's like. Okay, man. If this heavy weight comes at you, right? You got to grab that weight and take it away from you, right? It's the same thing. This heavy thing just came. You gotta pull more. You gotta go further yet. And you gotta, leap that one more leap. You gotta do something more than what they're doing on you, right?
Mm-hmm.
It has to expand itself, man. And I think this is what you ought to start doing. You ought to start raising these arguments here, because these arguments here are real to you.
They are real. That's exactly right.
Oh, yeah. Because having absence with a woman, the first impulse is wanting to ask a woman, did you fuck someone when I wasn't here?
Oh yeah, the very first impulse. As I walk off the plane, did you fuck him?
So a guy being more hip, more cosmopolitan, what have you not, is going to avoid that issue altogether, right? And say to himself, out of sight, out of mind, not my interest, not my body, not my this, it'll stretch a mile before it'll rip an inch, all these sayings that help,
Maxims which soothe.
Yeah. So you're in trouble, with the modern woman. She's never home. She's out running around, here, there, everywhere. You can't. Even if temptation was to pop up, she can take advantage of that temptation. And all of a sudden, you're saying, "Hey, wait a minute, man." You're saying to yourself, "Wait a minute, temptation, fucking." Her, me, him. How can I get rid of all this? I mean, how can I stop this kind of shit from going on through my body? Weak, old, undigested food in your stomach, man. That's shit. And you have to get to the source of the problem. And the source of the problem is, of course, is a woman that you don't trust. You see, like, you still trust your old lady, right? You still trust your wife.
Totally.
Yeah, you trust your wife, and that's it. That's why she's capable of doing all these things. And you saying this and that.
Hmm.
Because you somehow or other trust her that she, even if something was happen, she'd use discretion, and you know what I mean? And it wouldn't be over just because she felt hot that night, but it would be a more serious thing.
Right.
Right?
That's right. I have greater faith in something.
Right, that her judgments are good, you know?
Yes. Yes.
And crap like that. But see, like, if you realize that the judgments of a person that you're with isn't cooking anymore, you can't be with them anymore.
Oh, that's the loss of trust.
Yeah, you don't trust them anymore.
You don't
man.
trust their judgment.
No, you don't trust their judgment. You know, whatever their judgment is. Like, if their judgment is to go get fucked, or their judgment is to hit you at the pocket, or whatever it is that they decided to do, tells you whether that person's judgment is worth anything, right? And if the judgment is poor, you can't be with that person anymore, right? And it has nothing to do whether it's the woman or the male. But times have allowed us to make these kind of choices now. See, times have allowed us to do that. Modern times allowed us to get rid of people too.
So if we find we're with someone that we can't trust their judgment, we have to get rid of them and can get rid of them.
Yeah,
What you say?
no, you never want to be around somebody who has that kind of shitty judgment. Man. No way. They'll fucking get you killed. Some guy down the road got blasted away. The fucking irate boyfriend came through. He was an older guy too. Came through the fucking window. A lot of these jerks have never been in love in their lives, or, you know, and there's some woman gives them a line of shit. You know, they've been assholes all their lives, and you know what I'm saying? They can't catch on to it. You know what I mean? They fall in love with the local whore, you know, the local barmaid, and then become very upset because she went and fucked somebody. You know what I mean? But she's got a track record already.
Right.
You know, but the American male feels like the person's going to change.